The last year of my life has been the biggest, most tumultuous, I used a big word, roller coaster ever. If you've been watching my channel for a long time, then you already know I've been so inconsistent with this thing. I have said I'll get back and then I've gone on a long hiatus. Hopefully that is stopping. But it's mainly been because for the last 365 days since I graduated from the University of Cambridge with my undergraduate degree, I have been trying to figure this thing out. There are so many things that people don't tell you about life after university. There's so many things people don't tell you about university. We'll go into that another day, another time. The last year I've been trying to figure out, who am I? What is this thing? What is the world? What is life? How do I make more money? Why do I need money in the first place? Can someone give me money from somewhere? But also just, how do I get happy? How do I feel like I'm achieving something? University and the education system in general. I mean, I've been in education since I was 4 years old. It's all I've ever known since I could really remember. And it gives you something to aspire to. You get a good grade, you feel like you've achieved something. You finish that assignment, you feel like you've done something. And you feel like you're progressively working towards something. But oftentimes people don't tell you to set your own goals after university so that you feel like you're succeeding all the time. Instead, it just feels like this is the beginning of an everlasting race and there is no victories or stop points where you could be like, yeah, I've achieved that, I've done that. There's no natural progression to everything, really and truly. And particularly because I'm self-employed, I think I felt it a lot. But anyone outside of uni realizes that there's so many things I don't tell you about this thing. Adulting, this scam that is adulting, comes with so many different things that no one talks about, no one really tells you about. So I am here, yeah, I'm here, 1 year older and wiser, to tell you what I've realized really deeply about life after university. I was having a conversation with one of my friends, Lizzie, and she asked me, how are you finding life after university? And basically my response was, I think for the first couple of months, I felt, in all honesty and all transparency, which I'm all about, disappointed. I felt extremely disappointed in myself. I felt extremely underwhelmed that this is what life was. And I realized it was because for the huge chunk of my life that I was in the education system and those 3 short but really packed years that I was at university, everyone had always told me I was brilliant. Everyone kind of told you that the world is your oyster. Everyone tells you, no, there's nothing on the outside that you cannot achieve with this degree, girl. You go and you get it, black girl magic, black excellence, everything. And it's like, oh, I'm like, not that my head was getting big at all. I think I was still realistic about myself that, hey, you're gonna have to work. But when people feed that to you so much that, oh, you've got a degree from a top 20, you've got a degree from a top 10, you've got a degree, life is gonna be good. And you don't realize that actually, whilst everyone's been bigging you up, when you get into the real world, it's just like going to reception. It's just like going to year 7. You are the underdog. You are the youngest. You are not the runt of the litter, that's a bit peak, but you are the least knowledgeable about the world. You don't have everything figured out. And that's the first thing. You don't have anything or everything figured out at all. University gave me a lot of time to self-assess. I was able to do so many things which I wanted to do. I was a leader of a society. I started a YouTube channel and it was going pretty well. I was speaking in places. But after I left, it was a lot of questions about what does the rest of life look like? If you're not excelling in an academic atmosphere, how do you excel at life? What are the measures for that? And it took me a long time to realize that there was not really a quantifiable measure for not only my success, but whether I was doing this adulting thing right. Really, I had to set my own parameters of what I wanted to do. And through university, they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that after university, there's a lot of potential, and to be honest, most likely gonna be a bit of a crisis, a bit of an identity crisis of literally, who am I? Like, what do I actually enjoy doing? I've spent the last 3 years being defined as a student, of this particular field and industry, which for me was political and social sciences. And everyone wants to box you in there. All the questions of, what are you doing with your degree? Why did you study that degree in the first place? Are there jobs in that field? There's a recession. Brexit, Boris Johnson. There's so many things that are happening around you that feel like they're out of your control, or that you're simply being boxed into this narrow, uneventful, high pressure life. And honestly, it's taken me a year to realize, hey, you define what makes you happy and do more of what makes you happy. And I guess what it made me realize also was I'm not brilliant. There's a lot of the times people tell you like, oh, you're so smart, you've got this degree, you're on top of the world, and when you throw that cap in the air, you get that degree. As amazing of an achievement as it is, and I am so proud of myself that I was actually able to finish my degree, and I'm so proud of you, girl or boy, that you were able to finish that degree, walk across that stage and tell them, yeah, put my name on that certificate, this degree is mine. It's such an amazing moment, it's such an amazing achievement. But after that moment, you realize you ain't got no source, you ain't got no extra, you're just another one of thousands of people who've got a degree. And as much as, you know, it's not to be taken for granted and it's great to get a degree, yes, and I don't regret going to university at all, you realize that actually your competitive edge isn't really your degree. Everyone is kind of funneled to go to university now, and really what makes you brilliant isn't the fact that you have a 2-1 or a first class, or obviously a first class is great, but like, you realize that there's so many things that you need to figure out, so many things you need to do to sharpen your character, sharpen your mind, so many other things that you need to read that aren't academic books. It feels like your degree doesn't really prepare you for life. And I spent a whole year trying to figure out, okay, I don't really know how to manage myself outside of a rigid structure. So for myself, like leaving university and straight away just going into self-employment. I've been self-employed for a year, which I'm super proud about. And maybe I'll make a video sharing with you the things that I've learned being self-employed, because it has been an interesting ride. But how do I manage my time? How do I apply myself to something and define what that something is? You know, you'll get an essay question, or you'll get coursework. Somebody tells you the topic, somebody tells you when it's due. But in this situation, it was all down to me. And even if you have a 9 to 5, the time that you're not at your job and you're trying to pursue other things, you kind of realize, how long should I be in this job? Should I take this job? What should I do further qualifications? And there's so many questions that you have that you don't feel equipped to really answer. And it takes getting to know yourself, getting to know what's your vision for the future? Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? And maybe that's actually not going to fit in the box that everyone tries to put you in. I studied a political and social science degree, like I said, and so many people thought I was going to go and work in politics, I'm going to go and work in government. I didn't do any of those things. I was going to go and work in law, didn't do that. Could have gone into investment banking, didn't do that either. My parents were looking at me like, are you telling us that the last 3 years have been a waste? Have you lost your mind? But I did something completely different, something that people didn't really expect of me, considering what I had studied and where I had studied. And I had to spend a good couple of months actually building my confidence and self-assurance to know I was doing what I was meant to do, because everyone was telling me I was fumbling this thing called life. And there's a certain level of reliance that you have on your parents, on being at home, that I'm not gonna lie, you kind of get out of if you go to university and you don't stay at home. But when you get back, particularly because I went straight to living back at home, you realize that your parents also consider you to be an adult. My mum was very much so like, okay, you go off into the world and make your own money and end up buying a car and buy a house and leave me alone. And I'm just here like, mummy, please support me. She's not buying me clothes. She doesn't care if I come home and there's like no food. I'm actually figuring this thing out for myself, and I'm happy that I got to live at home and I live rent free, which is super great. But so many other people don't have that opportunity, and it comes with a lot of pressure and a lot of questions of, can I actually do this? And I hope I can like encourage you to think that you can. But I know it comes with really dark days, and it comes with a lot of doubt and a lot of self-consciousness and insecurity about whether you are actually good enough to give yourself the life that you want, if you even know what the life you want is. And there's so much pressure to figure out, what do I want out of life? But the truth is, you just sit down and decide, listen, what's gonna make me happy? What do I wanna do? And if the degree you have, or the education you have, or the lack of education you have is a resource you can use to get to that place, then use it 100%. If it's not, then find what you need to equip yourself to be where you want to be and be who you want to be. And that leads me on to the third point, though there's been quite a few points. Enjoy being young. When everyone is asking you what you're gonna do for the rest of your life, you kind of feel like life is running, like it's old age is chasing your neck with a dagger. And the truth is, you're 21, 22, 23, 19, whatever, and you've got pretty much 75% of your life, long life to you, 75% of your life left. You don't have to have everything figured out for the next 70 years. I mean, apparently, according to this government, we're gonna be working for the next 50 years anyway. Not I, but there's so much everyone expects you to have figured out in this short time that you've been alive, when truly you're living in the next decade of endless possibilities and so many things that you could push yourself and decide to actually do. Don't let anyone confine you. Don't let anyone box you in. And that leads me on to my fourth point. Use this time to take risks and do a little bit of everything. Ever since I've grown up, everyone's always talked about, don't be a jack of all trades. Be a master of one, be a master of one, be a master of one. And before you realize it, you're 21 feeling like you need to master something and just be in this specific field and in this specific box. And it's something I'm going to talk about maybe in a future video. But the truth is, the world is structured to make people fit into certain boxes, to make them think from when they're a kid, you're going to grow up and you're going to fit in this box. You're going to work in corporate, or you're going to be a creative, or you're just going to be a musician, or you're just going to be a factory worker, or you're just gonna be this for the rest of your life. That's where your strengths are. You're good at maths, stick with maths. You're good at science, stick with that. But the truth is, there are so many other things which you could explore about yourself. Learn a trade, learn a skill, develop your talents. If you can sing, do some more singing, take some classes. Why don't we allow ourselves to have the freedom to try out different things? Why don't we play to our strengths? And when you're young, you can play to your strengths, and you should play to your strengths. Make yourself happy by doing that which you are good at, and keep doing it. And if it keeps working, do it again, and take the risk to do the things that a lot of people tell you you can't do or you shouldn't do. Travel, see the world, expand your mind, talk to new groups of people. That's what university is really good for and really there for. Really spend time figuring out not what would I want to do for the rest of my life, but who am I? What was I put on this earth to do? And how could I best do that every day for the rest of my life? What do I want to achieve for myself? Not what are other people telling me I should have, or where other people are telling me I should be. What do I actually want? And that's a question that people deny you from asking yourself. They tell you what you should want, they tell you who you should be, but they never ask you, who are you and what do you want? And that's the two questions that I left university still asking myself. And to be honest, I'm asking myself that a year after graduating. Who are you and what do you want? What do you want out of life? Who are you created to be? I'm sharing this with you because I want you to ask yourself those questions, because I've had to ask myself them, and it's allowed me to be really ambitious and creative and imaginative and big in my thinking. And I get to wake up every morning and do something I like because I'm working towards such a huge thing that if I had let other people dictate to me who I should be and what I should do, and because I'm coming from this background, this is who I should be, I don't think I would have as much fulfillment. You can choose to take this advice, you can choose that it's absolute nonsense. That's completely fine. Definitely comment down below with what you think. Let's get talking actually. Have you had post-graduation blues? Have you had them? What's life post-grad been like for you? Or maybe you're going into third year. Do you have any apprehensions or worries about what life after your degree is actually gonna be like? Let me know. We can talk about it down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. And if you are subscribed, please turn on your notifications. Watch a few videos whilst you're still here. And I will see you when I see you, but stay beautiful and stay blessed. Mwah.